Are you a veteran or a brand new final expense telesales agent and you really want to know the 3 things that you need to know to help your career really take off? Well, you found the right video. Come walk with me. I'm going to give you the knowledge that you need to know so that you can understand what can work, because 90% of the insurance agents industry-wide don't make it because they don't make it about these very simple things that I'm going to share with you. Now, before I go into these 3 things you need to know, you got to understand that the business is not easy. Simple, yes. Easy, it is definitely not. So many insurance agents get destroyed because they don't know some of these things. Really hurts them. So we're going to drop this to you. Before I go into this, my name's Jason. I'm your friend in the industry, freezing my britches off, giving you some content today. It is cold. My fingers can barely move. The frost hit pretty heavy, but we're going to drop it to you. So if you need any resources, jasonfinalexpense.com, and let's get after it. So first off, tip number 1. You've got to have skill set. Number 1 is instrumental. Now, skill set by itself, without the other 2 things that I'm going to share with you, don't really matter, okay? Got to be real with you, because some people just train, and don't truly do anything else. So tip number 1 is skill set, and skill set. You've got to have proven power scripts. You've got to have powerful levels of training that you kind of go through so that you can have the best chance of getting through the script. The script is one that is very important. It's these steps that you need to follow so you can have the recipe to hopefully realize success. Like I said, the industry is lined with 90% of the agent force that doesn't follow these 3 things. So number 1 is a skill set. You've got to train to win, and you've got to train like you want to win. And if you don't show up to training, well, nothing truly good is probably going to happen for you in this industry. So final expense telesales, tip number 1, skill set, and skill set. You've got to start there, all right? You got to keep the first things first. Skill set, scripting. Be ready for rebuttals. Be ready for the defense that's going to come your way so that you can hopefully attain the dollars that you really want. There's no glass ceiling with final expense telesales. There really isn't. You can earn what you're worth, but there's some days you're underpaid, some days you're overpaid. You got to handle that for sure, but you got to be ready for the defensive things that the consumers are going to say. That's why scripting and training, very important. So number 1, I can't emphasize enough, skill set. Be prepared to powerfully train and make sure that you got a good mentor who can walk with you and really get you into a place that you're highly skilled. This is why in our agency here we do a 5-day telemastery program that is very intensive. Look at our agent testimonials and interviews at the end, or on our playlist. That will help you as well. But skill set, number one. Now, number 1 doesn't work if you don't deploy number 2 and number 3. Number 2 is you've got a heavy will set. All right, the best skill on the planet doesn't do anything to help you find success if you just sit on your laurels. Okay, you've got to have a will to win. You've got to have a just winning mindset. Will set. All right, number 1 is skill set. Number 2, if you're taking notes, you've got to have a will set. You've got to will yourself to get out of your soft spaces once you've been trained. The phone sometimes feels like it's 9,000 pounds. You've got to have a will to push past your emotional emergency get out of jail free card button, all right, where you're like, nope, don't want to do that. I don't want to get on the phones. That was a punishing call. I'm just going to pause. You can't pause. You've got to have a will to win. You've got to work like everything is dependent on your mindset. If you want to make money in this industry, have the best chance of it, because there's no glass ceiling, but there's also no base. It can beat you up. You got to understand you've got to have a will to win, a will to want to, even when you don't feel like it. Find yourself in a place where, okay, I don't have to do this like you're riding the ambulance. I get to do this. I get to win. I get to work. You got to get that mindset right if you want to make that money. This industry, like I say, is very simple, but it's not easy to always kind of trick your mind, reprogram your mind into becoming powerful. Your mindset is going to help you, but you've got to have this will that you want to go do this, even if maybe you don't feel like it. Feelings will find you broke. And if you want to make those bucks in an industry that destroys a lot of agents, you got to be powerful and positive up in here if you want to make that paper. So your will to win is very big. If you have diminished belief, well, you're going to have diminished, right, dollars that follow, because even on a call that maybe you could have closed, it's going to come across like commission breath, or that you're disinterested. You're not really kind of zoned in, and then you won't get what you want because you're zapped of your will to help the client win. It's all about serving Selling is a byproduct, but number one, skill set. You got to be skilled. You got to have good proven power scripts like what we possess. And number two, you've got to have this will to win, and you got to want it, all right? You got to want the win. Ever see a football team that's defeated in the half, and you know that their will is defeated? Well, nothing works out well. Welcome to Final Expense Telesales. You've got to have a strong mind if you want to have a chance of making that money that follows, all right? So you got to have that mental mindset that's strong. It'll give you more and give your clients, of course, more. Now, I got to change hands. It's cold, losing dexterity. And I hope you, by the way, are enjoying this content. If you do so far, please like the video. If you enjoy it, if you don't dislike it, that's fine too. And please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss content that I'll bring to you, even when I'm freezing my fingers off out here. Whew, it's cold. All right, so now you've got skill set. Back to what we're talking about, will set. All right, you got a good will to win. You're like, yay, Jason, I got the skills now and I got the will to do it. Well, nothing matters right now unless you do number three, and that's the work set. Action right now will fix all your problems, but a lot of agents want to stay in their soft spaces. They want to train, and then they have a will to win, right? That's the emotional roller coaster. That's not going to help you become a rock star. Now you've got to have a work set. You've got to work the business, or the business is going to work you over, and you're not going to make it. I don't want that for you. So understand, you got to have skill. Of course, the most highly skilled person is useless if they don't have a will or a want or a desire, and then if they don't deploy into this place of, you know what, I'm gonna have action, I'm gonna get on it. All right, so skill set, will set, and work set. Now I've got to work. The harder I work, the luckier that I get. You've got to have that mindset. I get to go do this. I've got the skills. All right, I got the skill set, I got the will set. I want this. I'm gonna help the client win. If you help the client win, you've got the best chance of finding the wealth. You do, but you've got to work. The work set is powerful. A lot of people don't like hearing about the four-letter word of just dialing and smiling. They get shined on by every unicorn, fart, and fairy dust that tells you, oh, you don't have to call really anybody. You have a booked calendar full of no-shows, all right? And you're just falling victim a lot of times to the marketers that they make their mark off you. You are the mark. And with Final Expense Telesales, it takes a tremendous amount of action, a tremendous amount of leads. As a full-time agent, you're going to want about 80 to 100 leads a week. All right, that comes at a cost. If you want to capitalize, if you want to be part-time, if you watch my other content, you've got to have about 30 to 50 brand new exclusive leads, all right, that you really engage with. That's a risk to find the reward, right? But it's a performance-based business. If you want to make it, you got to make it about the business. Buy the leads, call the leads, do it all again. Keep a good mindset, skill set, stay tight, stay right, stay in that good headspace. Now you got to have that heart, that hustle, all right? You got the skill set, you got the will set to work. Well, now you got to work with everything that's in you. And some days you're overpaid. Some days you're going to find you're going to be sometimes underpaid in a big way. And that's a kind of tough pill to swallow because it diminishes your belief when you have a day that you did everything right. Don't let things unravel here. Follow your script, follow your systems, even though systems can seemingly be very boring. Systems keep you in between the guardrails so you don't go off the cliff, so to speak. Ever done that in a Final Expense Telesales call where they start rambling or you start rambling and you're like, uh-oh, where am I right now? This is why scripts and systems are so important to you finding success. But the best script on the planet doesn't matter if you don't put it into action. Action is everything if you want to attain the status, all right, of a successful agent that makes it. The top 10%, the top 8% in the nation with Final Expense Telesales do pretty terrific. But those that don't work the business will always say the business didn't work out or blame the leads instead of looking into the mirror and go, you know what? I didn't have the skill set, didn't have a good agency, maybe good work family to help mentor me and help me have a chance of making the money, not a guarantee. But then maybe number two, they didn't have the will to win. They came at it with this glass half empty mentality and they won't make the money anyway. You can take that same lead, put it in front of someone with a positive, powerful mental mindset with a great script, and they'll maybe see success. And then you got somebody with a poisoned mindset and the same script and doesn't make a dollar. This is all about your mind and how you say things. It's not sometimes about what you say, it's about how you say it, right, men? If you're married, you know what I'm talking about, all right? This is important for you to have the right work family so that you can have a chance of finding success. This business is amazing, but when you make it, there's no better life than the independent agent life. And if you need any resources or a work family to call a home, jasonfinalexpense.com. I hope you stay warm, my friends. I gotta switch hands again. Put them in my coat pocket. It's cold, but I appreciate you walking with me, and I hope you find everything you're looking for by giving your consumers everything they desire. Know that you've got what it takes.